All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Pursuit Live. Joining me, as always, my partner in lives, Mr. Dave Hawkins.
What is up, Team Africa?
And Team Africa here, John from OnlyBows. And we are joined by Johan and Reneka from Uitkomst Safaris here in beautiful Limpopo, South Africa. Guys, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Thanks.
Not only that, thank you guys for staying up and drinking with us till 1 a.m. over here. In case anybody was wondering, it is literally the early morning hours over here, and we're bringing it to you live. So thank you guys.
Pleasure. Oh,
Cheers.
Cheers.
Prost. So, we apologize that we couldn't make it last week. Obviously, we were en route over here, and this week we're here. So, Dave, what do you think? You want to jump right into it?
Yeah, man, let's do it. I think everybody's excited to hear about what you guys got going on. You know, you guys have been productive already, so let's hear it.
All right. So, as always, here at Pursuit Live, we like to hear a little bit about the guests that we have. So, Johan, Reneka, who wants to go first?
You might guess, right?
Right?
Oh, goodness. No,
All right. So I don't know. I guess tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You know, I know you're not a professional tonight.
I'm not a professional tonight.
You know, Ray decided he was not a professional hunter tonight, but you know, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You know, how you got into hunting, and just it's your story, man. Tell
My
us.
story. Well, I've been hunting professionally probably for the last 13, 14 years. Started very young at the age of 16. Did it over weekends and school holidays. And my family wasn't really the biggest hunters, so I kind of got into it via friends, and my godfather was a big hunter, so I learned a lot from him. And my sister, she dated a professional hunter at one stage, and she's a little bit quite older than me, so got into the hunting with him. And yeah, after school played a little bit of rugby, and the police gave me a contract to play rugby for them, and I worked in the unit there, and my captain or commander there, he was a big outfitter. So since then on, I started hunting there, and it's just been hunting all the way. So that's why I'm here today. I'm not a professional hunter tonight, but tomorrow I am.
Well, listen, today's a new day. We're past midnight, so you're back to being a professional.
I'm professional now.
All right, so Swanee, show's yours.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah. I was born in 66, and we moved to the Kruger Park in 67 when I was a year old. And well, I grew up in the park, and that's where I got my love for the game industry. After school, went to the military for 2 years, which was compulsory at that stage in South Africa, and went to study agriculture at the Technikon of Pretoria. And after that, just got into the agricultural business and cattle breeding, and then started off with the game breeding thing. At one stage, it was quite big in South Africa, the game breeding. It petered down a little bit in such a way that we cannot do game breeding alone anymore. And then in 2016, we started to do a lot of active hunting. I qualified in 2007 already, but on this specific farm in 2016, I suppose, we started off with active farming and active hunting, and ever since it's been going very well with Uitkomst Safaris, and I'm very proud to be part of this outfit, and being the farm manager, I enjoy it a lot being here, and most wonderful of all is having you guys.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, we appreciate that. You know, I mean, as our audience knows, John and I are not the, how would you put this, great, you know, nicest people in the world. So some may call us dicks, I guess, back home, but only you know, our friends really know that in reality we're actual assholes.
You're not wrong.
So yeah, so Dave, what do you got on your end for us, buddy?
Shit, man, I've been working. You guys are over there getting it done. Not much.
Listen, somebody's got to do it. I mean, we're not all union electricians.
I know we got to pay the
Joke, and I'll clue you guys into this. Last season, Dave was in the middle of the woods looking for a good spot to deer hunt.
Okay.
He found a telephone pole in the middle of the woods. Decided to put his climbing tree stand in it. It's in a hot spot, so he said, "Okay, it's straight. I can climb it," and that was it. So now we rip on him a little bit for it. He's not a union electrician, and I'm sure the union would have a problem with him putting climbing poles, but you know,
gotta get it done.
That's it. Whatever gets it done. So
Not stupid if it works.
that's it.
That's
So
the only
Dave,
one that would have been better.
what do you got on your end, buddy?
Nothing, man. I'm just we got a couple of questions already rolling in. So I think why don't you guys just dive into it? You know, start from the first day, you know, kind of day by day, successful hunts, whatever you got going on. And then we'll do some questions later on.
God, the first day. So we landed in Johannesburg. We were met by a fine chap at the airport who, just like any American, any freedom-loving American, was hassled about his firearm rights, to which he swiftly told the police to fuck off. And then we traveled to the farm, had a good night. I'd say a little bit longer night than we anticipated, but the next day got up, sighted in the bows, as everybody saw with my post. It's very important, as my sights definitely had moved in transit, and then got right out to it. And at that point, I was able to harvest a good kudu. John was able to harvest a good baboon, and yeah, hell of a first day, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What do you
All right,
think?
well, let's start with that. I mean, let's start with having to sight in the bow. Obviously, it's a very smart thing. You know, a long travel like that, flights. You know, those guys are not gentle with the luggage, without a doubt. So you know they're going to be banging it around. Was there any damage to your case? Was anything damaged on the inside of the case or visible? Well, the only way you knew is if you test shot it.
Pelican, baby.
Yeah, they are good. Shout out to Pelican, without a doubt.
Nah, Pelican case, they stood up good. John's SKB held up good, and it wasn't much. It just I could tell where it was compressed a little bit, and where the sight housing, it was the entire housing shifted 1/8 of an inch maybe, and with the first shot, I knew, and that was it.
I will say this: if you're going to travel anywhere with a bow, make sure you read the airline's laws with it and what countries you're traveling to, connecting through, because what a hassle we had to do from JFK. They made us separate our arrows from our bow case, put it in our checked luggage. We had separate bow cases with separate arrows. We had to fill out firearms forms, even though it's not a firearm. That was probably the biggest hassle of the trip, was just get all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would.
Well, then refilling out the same forms
Yeah.
in London, because
Right.
I mean, England is, you know, a 1/4 inch shy of a communist country. So
I mean, I think that's just part of the learning curve. This is the first time you guys are doing something like this. So obviously in the future, you know what to expect. But I mean, that's definitely a good point. You know, doing your homework. There's a lot of homework and research you got to do before, you know, taking a trip like this. So without a doubt.
I just wing it.
Yeah, just fucking go for it. What's the worst that's gonna happen?
Well, your bow, man. These bows aren't cheap, man. You don't want nothing to happen to them. But
Well,
without a Pelican
well,
post,
too-
all right. So how about this? Let's were you guys so your first day of hunting, were you guys in ground blinds? Were you guys in pop-up blinds? Were you spot and stalk hunting? What type of hunting was the first day?
ground blinds, well built ground blinds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Swanee, you wanna go through the first day?
Yeah, like what are you using to make that ground blind? Obviously, whatever's near you in the area, but let's break it down a little bit for everybody. Paint a picture.
Well, I think it's true to say that we've got enough stones and rocks in this farm, so that's obviously what we used to build that blind, and we built a nice and sturdy blind there that should last maybe for 150 years or more.
Wow.
With a solid roof to it, a solid cement slab roof. Got a 2 meter by 2 meter toilet in there, flushing toilet with basin, 2 beds, and a few chairs. 3 sides of the blind have got slits in, and as well as a port for a camera, for a video camera. So I think it's a quite a nice blind. It's nice and soundproof, and I think it's really safe regarding smells and stuff that can fly through there. I think we had a lot of success there regarding that. One can really relax in there and have a good time.
Yeah, that's not what I was expecting when I heard a ground blind. That's you could rent that here in the States on Airbnb and get good money for that.
That's true. Yeah.
That ain't bad. All right. A couple people already asking, basically, and again, I'm trying to help paint the picture for everybody because I had questions myself. The weather, like Chris, me and you spoke one day sporadically, and I'm like, well, what's the weather like? Is it hot? Like I hear Africa, and I think like the plains of Africa, hot as hell, dry. But you actually brought up a good point that the seasons are actually opposite right now. So why don't you touch on that?
Well, I'll tell you this: both the South Africans are in jackets right now, and you see what I'm wearing.
You're right.
So it's well, John's also wearing a shirt, but I think it's more for fashion than anything. John's a fashionable guy.
You should see Chris on a morning. He's bundled up.
It is. It's imagine New York in April. That's basically the winter here. Apparently, I mean they do get icicles. I did see pictures of ice here, so it does get cold here, but it's yeah, it's pleasurable.
You have to be ready to shed layers because it gets warm.
Yes, very quickly. Like you will be wearing if you're not cold tolerant, I go out in my shorts in the morning. I don't even think Swanee owns a pair of pants. But that's it. A light duty jacket in the morning, and by 8-9 o'clock in the morning, it's off and you're sweating.
Right. So is this considered, like they use the term sometimes, like the rainy season? Do you get a lot of rain in this area? Like how does that affect the terrain where you're at?
No, we don't get much rain in winter times in these areas.
Okay.
So our rainy season is basically from, I would say, beginning of October up until end of March, and push a little bit past April, but from April to August, September, we don't get much rain.
Okay.
So it's very dry for us this time of the year, especially this area where we're at now. I haven't received late good rains. I think Johan said you had
97 since beginning of January. Millimeters.
97 millimeters since the beginning of January.
That's 4 inches. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a lot more. Wow. So
It is very dry here. Anybody that is coming to South Africa, the one thing I was told is bring a lot of chapstick, and that's held true. It is very, very dry.
Okay.
and hydrate.
Hydrate.
All right.
And rain this time.
Well, I guess while we're on it, just more about the topography. This is kind of a conversation that Chris and I had, but I figured, again, to help everybody else kind of paint the picture where you guys are at. You're actually up in elevation quite a bit, probably more than most people realize. So if you want to touch on that a little bit, and then I guess we're moving on to the next day.
We're in between the high veld and the low veld, what we call in South Africa. The low veld being the breadbasket of the country. We're currently at about 1,370 meters above sea level. What is that? About 5,400?
Yeah.
Roughly about 5,400 feet. And right here on the ranch, on the farm, we can go up to about 1,700 meters above sea level, which is quite high. The vegetation differs a lot from down here to up in the mountains. Up in the mountains, there's obviously our animals have adapted a lot to live in these mountains. The buffalo and the giraffe and the zebra, they just roam wherever they want to. So the topography regarding the hills and stuff doesn't really deter the animals from moving wherever they want to. They move up and down regarding the heat and the cold in the winter and the summer months. Moving up the mountains in the winter time to be up warmer, and moving down in the summer months down to be a bit cooler. So yeah, that's half said, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. It's perfect. So what is that? That brings us to day 2, right?
Where do you want to start on?
Is that the day of the kudu?
No. Day 1 was the kudu.
Day 1 was kudu. Did you even talk about that? I don't think we touched on that yet.
Yeah. We harvested a kudu and John harvested a baboon.
Oh, we did. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So bring us into day 2 then.
Day 2, Ray joined us on day 2, and we split up. Ray is a fair weather hunter. So day 2 we split up and kind of went to different areas of the farm, and
Trying to remember.
yeah, it was it's an adventure. I took a good shot at a wildebeest that turned into an almost 2-day adventure.
Yeah, which was very, very unfortunate. Yeah. Excellent shot. You haven't shared the video, have you?
No.
Excellent shot on that wildebeest. Even when we saw the video of that, we knew that. Oh no, we didn't take a video of the wildebeest. It was out of sight.
No, you stepped just off camera.
But I was very happy with that shot. I actually watched with the binos, and that was about 30 yards, was it?
30
yards,
maybe 32 at the most.
Perfect shot, perfectly broadsided. I thought we were going to pick him up within 100 yards, and he just kept on going without much blood, showing us much blood. And we were really unfortunately not finding him that day. Spirits was quite low that night, and we came back to the lodge, and we thought, well, what the heck happened? Just to find him accidentally the following day, stumbled upon him being dead the following day. So yeah, perfect shot. We opened him up, both lungs broken, perfect broadsided shot. Just a very tough animal. That's maybe something that we can touch on how tough some of these animals are. I don't know whether they are more tough than the animals in the northern hemisphere, but they showed something to us. Left lung completely shattered, right lung nicked right at the bottom. So
a piece of fat or a piece of organ must have plugged the exit hole. It was the only way. I mean, what do you guys think? What do you guys think happened?
Well, the animal's dead, so we can't ask him.
That is true.
No, the amount of blood that for a lung shot animal, it should have bled more. And I was using the iron will,
Which sucked.
which if you guys are watching, we have a lot of feedback for you from field testing on the iron wills. Great penetration, but not a lot of blood. Especially for a long shot animal, it should have been a little bit more.
Yeah,
I would say. But yeah, it took us on a 4-kilometer adventure, up and down the mountain, back up the mountain, back down the mountain, and
Was it a surprise that a predator, didn't start eating that animal at that point after so long, or was that normal?
yeah,
no, it's really abnormal. He would have been eaten under normal circumstances, definitely. We've got a lot of Brian hyena on the farm, a lot of jackal on the farm, which just can't wait to try and do that. But obviously, the fact that he didn't throw a lot of blood helped a lot. That there was not too much of a scent, So that helped.
That's
a
true.
lot.
That's very true. That's a very good point. Okay, so the gentleman in the picture with you there, Chris, we give him some credit as well. He helped track that animal for you.
Senzo.
Senzo, yeah,
Yeah.
we can just these guys are just something different regarding their eyesight. We think we are good in the bush and we understand these things, but they are just something different. So without them, we are really lost, without doubt.
Awesome. Well, I guess we got to share some love to John. John, why don't you talk about what you got done, man? You were getting it done.
Oh, a little bit. Nothing on day 2. Day 3, shot a Nyala.
Record book, Niala.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. SCI
Nyala.
gold. Didn't go more than 100 yards.
Nice.
But same thing, like we were saying with the iron wills, no blood trail whatsoever. A couple drops. It was very hard to track those animals. Switched it up for my warthog. Went back to the G5 broadheads, and those get it done. Massive blood trails. Obviously, it matters about shot placement, but I don't think for the rest of this trip I won't be using iron wills for anything besides shooting baboons for fun. It's the G5s are the way to go for these bigger animals. And then today I shot a pretty decent sized wildebeest.
Yeah, we haven't measured him yet, so
Yeah, he's fresh. He's fresh.
More to follow on that.
You guys are stirring the pot with the iron will talk. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, let me see if I can hop over to the comments here a little bit.
Well, it's gonna start trickling in. It's hey, it is what it is. There's nothing. This is real life intel. This is about the best and honest intel you can get. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bash. It's just intel. It's just that simple.
We shot big animals. We shot small animals. We shot different breeds, and the whole time the trackers, the PHs, even Chris and I were like, we can't believe and for such an expensive broadhead that there's no blood trail. These animals are going so far. We started using the G5s, and they're my wildebeest, massive animal. They're tough, and it didn't go more than 60 yards once I shot it with the G5. It was leaking bad. Same thing with the warthog. I don't think I'll use iron wills from this point forward.
Well, if we can get back to the kudu, that kudu didn't show us any blood at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kudu was shot with a G5.
With a G5.
Or excuse me, an
will.
iron will.
Iron will.
And
Okay.
no blood.
And when we found the kudu, he was very ill at that stage, but still standing up.
Yeah.
The shot was a little bit more to the back than I would have preferred, but it was still a deadly shot. It still struck both lungs without any doubt. and that could have stayed alive for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He eventually went down on his knees, down on his sternum, and eventually toppled over. But I would have expected much more blood, definitely, without doubt.
Although that G5 did do a number on that baboon.
Yeah, the G5, the G,
Or not the G5,
the Iron
the
Wills.
Iron Will.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Iron Wills eat up baboons, in case you're wondering.
it'll go through. That's not a problem. Like it'll pierce.
Yes,
you
the
know,
the penetration on an Iron
yeah,
Will
is
is phenomenal. But
Absolutely.
the
the-
wound channel.
yes.
Is not fantastic.
Right. So you guys are both shooting 70 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Iron Wills are what do you guys got? You guys got the two blade? Double
Yeah.
bevel?
John is shooting the double bevel. I'm shooting the single bevel.
Do you guys got
The,
the bleeders on them?
100. What's that?
Do you have the bleeders on them or no?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have bleeders. And then G5 is a 3-blade?
Yep.
Well, very interesting. I know, Chris, you and I talked on the phone about it. I'm not going to stir the pot too much more. When you're home, we can dive into it more. You know, maybe there's something to be said to a 3-blade over a 2-blade.
It's
As far as like the carnage and the exit wound and the blood trail.
it's a whole different ball game over here.
Yeah.
And
Without-
I will say that the animals are built differently.
Yes.
So I guess I could leave it at that. You know, they are definitely a tougher animal. All the way from the Cape Buffalo down to
The Impala.
the Impala. Yeah, they are these animals.
Wood ninjas.
These animals are built to.
Dodge
They're
arrows.
built to survive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you know, when you get home and you put an iron will through a deer, you know, that'll be like the conclusion almost. You know, if you get
Well, I put an iron will through a deer, and when you put an iron will through an Impala, you would think two very similar animals. No, it's not at all similar.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, we're definitely going to dive into that more when you guys get back.
Sorry, it slices through the animal like butter, but then the animal only realizes after 2 hours.
All right. So at one point we were team only bows, but with the rifle. And what was the driving factor behind that?
Well, all right. So we can say this now because we were kind of keeping it a secret, but you know, we spilt the beans to John today. So I decided to do a buffalo hunt while we're here. So now Team OnlyBows is only Holland and Holland. But yeah, so we did begin with the rifle because we are hunting a little bit different of a animal, if you will say. Something that somebody says 70 pounds is enough, but the guy I'm hunting with says not a chance in hell. And since I was a young boy, shooting a Cape Buffalo with a 375 H&H was a dream. I'm going to live the dream. We're going Holland and Holland on this.
I mean, that should speak on how tough these animals are, that 70 pounds with a modern bow, you know, isn't sufficient.
Right.
You know, like what poundage do you need? You got to be like pushing 100 pounds in all reality if you want to go after them with a bow.
Well, right. You said 70 will penetrate a Cape Buffalo, but
Yeah, I've done that before, and it penetrates quite well actually if you have the right setup on the arrow and if you have the correct broadhead.
so what you're saying is Iron Will, no good on Impala. Iron Will, probably good on
We had the
Buffalo.
discussion, eh?
Yeah, to be honest, we've used the similar. I'm not sure if it was Iron Will, but similar type style on a Cape Buffalo with 70 pounds because there's, well, if you go more than 80, 85 pounds, it gets uncomfortable to draw. And there's not a lot of people that will every time physically want to do that in an uncomfortable position. Although many people will, but some won't. So 70 pounds, a similar type style of broadhead or tip, and it penetrated really, really well on buffalo. Of course, it's the animal, the big animal. You don't go after it immediately. But we gave that buffalo about 10 minutes, and we heard the death of Belo, and it was expired. So I think the iron will's probably a good bet on thicker skin animals, because I think on normal animals, it's maybe slicing just through too quick. I think if it slow down a little bit, might be a different story. But it worked on a Cape buffalo.
What are your thoughts, Swanee?
I agree 100% with Ray. But on the thick-skinned animals, I would much rather be very conservative regarding the use of anything that might lead to an uncomfortable position. So I'll stick to the 80 pounds on a buffalo.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect that. I respect that mindset. You're taking something out of the equation. Let's say you're taking a little bit of that human factor out of the equation, especially if it's a rifle hunt. Now you're giving that animal the best chance at a quick harvest, which is what we want, and this is, you may only get one chance, so you might as well make it count. You take put whatever you can in your favor at that point.
No, for sure. For sure. That is exactly what ethical hunting is all about, and that is what we all want to stand for, is to take that animal out of its misery as quickly as possible. So yeah, that's it. That's the short and long of the story. Yeah.
Absolutely. So where do you even begin? How does a hunt for one of these monsters begin? What are you looking for? Water? I mean, are you looking for what they're eating? Where do you begin?
Yeah, by us, it's more of an afternoon hunt on buffalo. We are in a very hilly area, so there's a lot of mountainous terrain, and the animals tend to stay up in the mountains, where they are inaccessible not only to hunt, they are accessible to hunt on foot, but one needs to think about the recovery of that animal after you've hunted. So one would rather wait for them to come down in the late afternoon to the water, and to where we feeding them. In these mountains this time of the year, we feed a lot. So we wait for them to come down, and then we stalk them. With us, it's obviously a big challenge regarding the wind. In these hills, the wind will swirl all around the whole time. So one moment the wind is in your face, the next moment it is in your neck. So that's quite a challenge. But and then obviously we would still like to be. I'm always comfortable with buffalo under 80 yards. Can shoot them on longer distance, but under 80 yards, I'll be happy and comfortable to do that with the 375. So that's what it's all about. Get the hunter into a position where he's comfortable and he can take a comfortable shot. Never ever want somebody to take a shot with a big caliber rifle being uncomfortable.
Well, what's that old saying from, I don't know who said, you don't shoot a large caliber man with a small caliber bullet.
Yeah, that's true.
Very true.
That was Harriet Tubman.
How is what is their strongest trait? Let's say, is it do they rely on their eyesight or their sense of smell, or honestly, is it both?
They've got excellent hearing and excellent smell.
Okay.
Their eyesight is not too bad.
Okay.
They can see like cattle can see.
Okay.
But the hearing is exceptional and the smell is exceptional. So one need to be really careful on the stalk, not to spook them, and obviously the wind is then a major factor.
Which definitely fucked us on our first hunt.
For sure, without doubt.
We had coming out of a gully, swirling wind. Buffalo were nowhere to be seen. We went and fetched the truck, drove through less than 5 minutes later. Well, no, it was probably a little bit longer.
Yeah,
than
maybe
that,
15 minutes. Yeah.
15 minutes after we backed out of the spot, fetched the buggy. We're driving back through, field loaded with buffalo. Soon as we left the area. So they definitely can smell very well.
And to us, it felt the whole time like the wind was in our faces.
Yeah.
At that stage.
Right. So without a doubt, they're very keen to it, and they rely on it. They trust it. I mean, that's their lifeline at that point.
For sure, yeah, definitely.
So one thing we didn't touch on, the lions that you guys had the first night in camp. Any encounters? Any visuals?
Yeah, Chris got mauled by one.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Chuck Norris story starting to happen.
No, listen, the wrong cat.
That must have been pretty surreal hearing that the first night at the lodge.
Yeah.
Especially for you, John.
It's interesting to say the least.
I bet it's probably a little bit of humbling, a little bit of everything, without a doubt.
I'll tell you what, everything about this place is humbling.
Yeah.
Everything about hunting in Africa is a humbling experience.
Especially the Impala.
Especially the Impala. You think a white-tailed doe will humble you as a hunter? Come hunt Impala.
Well, they got like binocular vision, right?
Not only that, we've slowed down videos on shots of Impala. And not only can they hear you release that arrow, they can see that arrow coming, and the string jump is not just it's 12 inches. And not only are they dropping, they're ducking away from it.
Really?
These animals bob and weave from something coming at them at 350 feet per second.
Wow. Are you shooting light and ox? Do you think that has anything to do with it, or they literally just can see it?
Nothing to do with it. It's everything to do with that these animals are built to survive.
Yep. That's amazing.
I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah,
They are deer on cocaine.
They are the cocaine deer.
Yeah.
If you think Cocaine was a funny movie, stay tuned. Produced by Pursuit Live. Cocaine and Pablo.
Well, it's that brandy and Monster Energy drink they're all drinking down there.
Oh, the brandy? Just for Squatch, because I know he's going to want to know. This was recommended to us on first night, and as a bourbon drinker, I highly recommend.
There you go. I'll cheers with you, boys.
There you go. Prost.
Cheers. You might as well hand me that one.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah. There you go.
All
See?
right.
Listen, we've been going at it for probably almost 8 hours at this point, so forgive us for being a little bit in the bag.
You guys are living the dream, man. I'm glad we got this to work, setting this up.
Don't mind us. We're just refilling.
It's all right. You got to do your thing.
We can make the task.
So yeah, Dave, how do the comments look there?
Steady. We got a steady stream. We bumped up to like 15 viewers at one point. we're holding at 9 now. I think everybody's honestly just listening and enjoying the the breakdown for everything.
All right. Well, in case anybody is interested, you can book your safari now at Uitkomst through Red Sky Safaris, and I guarantee you, if you want to come over here and have a good experience, including your airfare, it will cost you less than a Colorado elk hunt.
Okay, that's saying something.
I've been saying it for over a year now.
Yeah, definitely.
The
cheaper
real
than
question is, how do we get that Tacoma back stateside?
It's not a Tacoma. They don't drive Tacomas over here.
What is it?
Number one. Their Tacomas are the Toyota Hilux, which is a diesel version.
Oh, really?
And then if you really want to get crazy, you get into the Land Cruiser.
Okay, I get down with that.
And we're not getting the Hilux in the U.S. because of emissions. So if you if you don't like cool trucks, keep voting Democrat. And there are very few Land Cruisers in the U.S.
Well, they released a new one, but it's not a pickup truck.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Land Cruiser pickup trucks, what are they? 70K? 70,000 US?
Yeah, approximately. Yeah.
They're about 70,000 US. And don't get me wrong, they're well worth it.
Oh yeah.
They're like the Mercedes-Benz Unimog. They are a tractor on a pickup truck frame. They will go everywhere and they will do everything.
When you guys are ready, I want to. I think I want to close on this topic here, and I want to talk about, now that you guys have a couple animals on the ground. It's important to stress the fact that this is not just a trophy hunt for the sake of the trophy. Like, you're actually, this brings a lot of good to the local area, whether it's in the form of jobs or literally in the sense of meat, which is food, which is life. So, however you guys want to talk on that, whoever wants to take the lead on that. Like that kudu, for example, like how many, literally probably hundreds of pounds of meat is that going to provide to the, to whoever needs it now?
It wasn't that big. It was only like 120 pounds, right?
The kudu.
It was like 80 kilos, nothing crazy.
Just saying, that's a substantial amount of food.
It's all across Southern Africa. Like everything that you do in a safari, like every dollar that you spend is actually it's jobs. It's a business here.
Right.
So you are, in a sense, you are giving to the community, I guess. I guess you would call it here.
So it's giving to the lions too.
And then, if you shoot enough baboons, then yeah, you are giving to the local lions as well, and they definitely appreciate it.
Or if you find your wildebeest the next day.
Or if you find your wildebeest after a 4-kilometer track in 2 days, then the lions are very, very happy. But I don't know. You guys want to elaborate? I know.
Yeah.
Locally here, Mozambique, Namibia. You want to?
Yeah, it's completely different here than in Mozambique or in Zimbabwe or in Namibia. The local communities claim the meat. All the meat there goes to the locals. Here by us, it's privately owned. We own all the animals that is hunted here. So those carcasses stays our property, and a lot of that meat we process and sell it with a little bit of added value to it. Or if it gets a little bit too much for us to handle ourselves, then we sell it off as carcasses to butchers that process it, and then sell it again in the market. A highly sought after delicatessen is game meat, wild game meat, and we can't stay ahead of the pack. We just keep on feeding the masses with it, and it's very popular, really popular. So yeah, it adds a lot of value to the farm. But I think Ray can elaborate much more. He's just back from Namibia, where they did a big hunt there. So yeah.
I'm going to speak to Rhodesia and
Rhodesia. Whoa.
I think the most important thing is nothing goes to waste in Africa. Nothing. No matter if it's smallest, tiniest animal, nothing goes to waste. Everything has its purpose. Like Johan just explained, either you use the meat around camp, process it, or you sell it for value, and that covers some other running costs on the property, because we don't hunt year round, so it's there's a lot of expenses running a property like this. So every little bit help, but nothing goes to waste. It doesn't matter if it's trophy hunting or meat hunting. Like Johan also said, if you're hunting, how can I say, public, if you can talk about public lands in Mozambique and stuff, the meat there stays to the community. So you get permission from the community to hunt these areas, and you get your tags and stuff, and then whatever you shoot goes to the community. It's quite not shocking, but it's quite bad to see if you shoot a hippo or buffalo. There's people coming out of the bush from all areas just to come collect meat. Then you kind of see how they are kind of dependent on hunters to supply that meat, and that you pay a certain value for that animal that you just hunted, and you pay your government levies. That everything just go back into the community that side. So I think it is crucial part of hunting, that people would know nothing goes to waste. Everyone gets their not piece of the action, but it goes into the right spots.
And that's why
So,
I want.
there you have it. I thought I was talking about this for fucking years.
You are bullshit, but
Yeah, I mean,
skip
it's a
over
different
that.
it's a different kind of bullshit though. But yeah, no. So you heard it here.
That's exactly why I wanted to bring it up. Right from the people who are living it, they've been living it for years. It's because it's very easy to throw that title trophy hunt around, and that just gets it's just not accurate. Maybe yes, do people do it and then they're strictly after the trophy and then they don't use the rest of it? Sure, I'm sure that happens, but you better be careful when you use that term trophy hunters, because overall that is not the people like Chris and John in your position. That's not why you guys are there. That's not why Red Sky Safari exists. That's not why you guys are sharing drinks tonight and doing this live tonight. You guys are all about that connection. Like, I feel like there's a very strong connection from talking to you guys, like between the land, like especially in Africa, there's something about that connection between the humans, the hunters, and the animals. Like, it's very close knit, it feels like.
Well, I do want to take a moment to touch on something that I learned while I was here, and I will be sharing this post. Cecil the lion. Everybody thought that this was an illegal trophy hunt, and that this was this ungodly thing that was done by killing this lion. And it turns out all of that was 100% bullshit. So everybody stay tuned. I will be making a post about this, and we'll continue to post about it now that I've found out about it. But Cecil the lion is not a real thing. He was not a real king of the prized lion, if you will. And there's a major backstory to that, and where the individual that shot Cecil the lion was not in the wrong.
No, definitely not.
To say it the least.
Definitely not. That was part of a culling process, permits that was issued by the Zimbabwean parks. Coincidentally, more, I think 54 lions in total was culled in a few weeks after Cecil the lion was killed. It was just coincidentally that he was shot, and he had a collar around his neck, and the collar was around his neck for conservational purposes. So it was just bad luck that he was shot. And when he was killed, and they found the collar around his neck, the actual game scout, the Zimbabwean game scout, got so scared that he decided to take the collar off and discard of it. And so there was a huge hype and a big story made up about all this nonsense, and look how that ended up.
Yeah.
A lot of people lost a lot of face value and plenty more. So yeah, it's really sickening. And there's another story that we might touch on currently in South Africa regarding the forced euthanization of all lions in captivity. It's a white paper that's already through Parliament in South Africa, whereby within the next 2 to 3 years, the government wants to get rid of all lions in captivity. And this is not the thing sucked out of our thumbs. You guys can go Google it, and you can see what the government stance is upon that. And it's really ridiculous. It's appalling. But yeah, that's all about hunting. And at the end of the day, the Greenies wants us to just voluntarily give all this up and give our weapons up, and that's not going to happen.
So, as everybody can see, I know we try not to get political here on Pursuit Live, although it does happen.
I'd like to.
The problems we face in the Western world are not localized to the Western world. They are far-reaching, and a global effort, if you will, is underway to undermine the hunting community.
For sure.
And as my partner Dave always likes to say, your vote matters.
It does.
So keep that in mind, please.
As the Democrats say, vote twice, vote often.
That is true. Listen, I voted here in South Africa. That's, the other day.
But before
Wish you could, yeah.
before you get off the topic too, that term trophy, as Chris and I, our first time to Africa, I think Chris can kind of agree. You see some of these animals out in the wild, out here, and you're like, oh shit, look at that thing. Let's shoot that. And Ray and Johan are like, that's small. That's not even close to it. That's a young one. And you're like, yeah, it's way bigger than anything you've seen in the US. You're like, wow. It is truly eye-opening. You see some of these, eland, nyala, kudu, you're like, just endless animals that are massive, and they're like, no, they're not even. Those are young adults. They're not even ready to.
The buffalo, especially.
Yeah,
it was a learning curve for me on the buffalo. I was looking at some of these things, and they're nice buffalo. They're great. I yelled out on the truck, Swanee, what about this guy? What's he look like? Oh, he's a youngster. So.
Yeah, I mean, you see these sable and these eland, they're the size of horses.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool. And then, no, those are not mature yet. You probably get a better one. I'm like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, give that guy another 2 or 3 years. Like, I know we joke about it in the U.S. Like, oh, yeah, you could use another year. Like, no, here in Africa, it's 100% true.
A whitetail, comparatively, goes on, the land here in Africa, you'd be like, oh, that's one of the smaller animals. It is crazy.
Yeah. So for all you Ohio boys and Suffolk County, Long Island boys. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I got to up my game a little bit to get on that trophy wall. Yeah, no kidding. Well, I mean, that's a great point, John, like you said, and that's where you really got to lean on your pHs. Like you trust all the years of experience from these guys living this day in and day out, and to be able to lean on them, when your finger's on the trigger, and then to trust them. Like, look, yeah, is it legal to shoot? Sure, but trust us. Like, there's more. There's you have a chance to get bigger and better, and that's the excitement behind it. You never know what's coming next.
There's multiple times me and Chris had the same experience on the same day.
Right.
Where you have one animal walking in and they're like, "Oh, okay, get ready," and then they're like, "Stop. There's a bigger one coming in. Hold up."
Right.
Like, there's ones bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is. I mean, it's a target-rich environment, but you have to trust the pHs to be like, that's the one you want. Out of this whole group here, he's the one. So it is. You need to have an experienced pH. You have to be with a reputable company, because I mean, Ray and Johan has explained to us that there's other places out there that are just in it for, we'll get you out here, you'll shoot an animal inadequate size. You'll think it's big, but you don't know any better, and they take your money and that's it. But here, they want you to get that, quote unquote trophy perfect animal for you. So it is a great experience.
I am starting to get the itch a little bit, I guess.
It's scary.
It's scary, and I say that because anybody that knows me, I'll do podcasts with everybody, and everybody wanted to hear about this when we got back, and I always thought, like, what am I going to say to these people? And within what was it, 2 days of being here, 3 days, I figured out what I was going to say. So I'll tell you now, I'm afraid to come back here. I am. I truly am afraid to come back to South Africa, because if I come back, and I'm coming back, I may never leave.
It's a nice country.
It's honestly, I'm afraid to come back, because if I come back again, when I come back again, that may be it. I may surrender my U.S. passport, and then that's it.
Put a nice ground hide up in the mountains.
I can live there. Listen,
with whitetail hunting, and turkey hunting, black bear, you can spend 10, 12 sessions out in the woods and not see a single thing, or something that's, not what you want to shoot. But you're out here, it's a target-rich environment. There are tons of things. I mean, it's by luck of the draw what you see that day, because there's so many different animals and patterns and this, that, who's at the watering hole, who's not. There's a pecking order.
you have to take what the bush gives you.
You have to take what the bush gives you. But it's refreshing to be like, I have a great chance of going out today and nailing something I wanted or didn't expect, but so be it. It's awesome.
Well, I think there's a lot. Well, I know there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and you guys know that as well. I don't have to tell you guys, but the guys you're sitting next to, and I'm sure a ton of more people, they put a lot of work into to put clients and you guys on the best game possible. So I mean, without a doubt, I mean it's no short effort what they do, for their customers. So it's awesome. Ever since I got that first picture, so you guys got something on the ground, I was pumped for you guys. I'm really happy for you. Because, Chris, I know how long you've been talking about it. This was over a year you were talking about it, blabbing about it. Going to Africa. So I'm very, very happy that it worked out great. And then you got John there with you also. So, I mean, that's pretty cool.
I mean, I could do
it.
Yeah.
Let's end it with this. I'm curious to hear what the PHs think about you two knuckleheads from New York showing up with your bows and actually getting it done.
Keep it PG, boys. Keep it PG.
No, fuck it. Listen, I've been prepping you all week. I said, let's get pissed drunk for this and have at it. Who wants to go first?
Oh, we're gonna fight over who wants to do it.
No, we really enjoyed to have the guys, Dave, and we look forward to have a lot of OnlyBows people and and your friends and whoever over to come and join us. We really enjoy to have the Americans over. We've done it for years, and hopefully we can still do it for many more years.
Yeah, they're not too bad of a guys, especially one that's strawberry blonde and and then he's working on a mullet, so no. Not too bad. No, we really enjoy it, and that's what's for us is fun of what we do is to meet the nice new people. You get your assholes and stuff like that, but so far John and Chris has behaved quite well. Not once did we think about killing them and throwing them in a hole, feeding them to the lions. So they're still good. We're on good terms.
Awesome.
And I believe we'll stay like that because they are good people.
Semi.
Levi had a good comment from Team Whack and Stack. South Africa is such an amazing place to hunt. It gives you, as a hunter, a deeper appreciation for conservation efforts taken around the world. So I figured I'd share that with everybody. And then he goes, Dave, don't go to Africa the first time without being ready to go your second time.
Oh, you heard it. You heard Art and Terry.
Yep.
That first time we met him in Jersey.
Yep.
That's it. When you're on your first one, you will be playing. I've been planning. Listen, I'm already planning my third one.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you got a whole laundry list going.
Yeah, that is 100% the truth. And as I said, I'm afraid to come back because the next time I may not leave.
Well, we are at the hour mark. All good things must come to an end, unfortunately. What do you guys want to wrap it up with before we call it a night?
Well, we got any last minute questions?
No, we've been rolling them in as they've been coming in. I think a lot of people are just listening. Honestly, this is very unique what you guys are doing. We were able to actually get it to work with the live stream and everything, so it kind of worked out very good tonight.
All right. Well, we still got a couple more days of hunting. I think.
Keep the camera rolling.
Hopefully we can actually get the buffalo to come in.
Yes.
And John is still after a monster kudu. And when I say monster, I mean makes mine look small. So we got some work ahead of us.
And I need to. It's my goal. I've had a string jump on a Impala, so I need to smoke one.
All right.
Twice.
But yeah, like we were saying, we could tell you from experience, those Impala, they bob and weave. They fucking bob and weave.
And the thing is too, another thing I just want to bring up. You know, when you book these trips or kind of start it, you say, oh, I want to do this, and this. But when you get here, you throw that list out the window.
Yeah.
Because it's
a wish list for a reason.
It's a wish list for a reason. Because you can see photos online, but you can't tell how beautiful like a Nyala is up close. Like how crazy some of these animals are. They're huge. Yeah. And there's just, you guys will see the pictures. It is insane. Things they have here that are normal would be monsters in the States. So it's definitely eye-opening experience.
I agree. Well, you guys are representing well, man. I'm proud of you guys. You're holding it down.
Well, wait till you get here, Dave.
Maybe.
You'll lose your mind.
All right.
There are no phone poles here. Everything is buried electric, so you're going to be a little fucked.
There's not one tree you can put a saddle or climber.
We've driven everywhere, as far as the eye can see, end to end, and there might be half a dozen trees.
I'll set up that pole right in the living room there, right behind you guys. You wake up, I'll be swinging from the saddle. So, all right, producer Chris, why don't you do your thing, buddy, and we wrap it up. Like I said, all good.
All right, with that, I do want to take the opportunity, gentlemen, we brought you a little something.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it a lot.
You know, we figured you guys were a little out of uniform tonight, so we wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. So,
Thank you, Chris.
welcome to the team.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it a lot, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is quite
Yeah,
good.
you look like John.
Yeah.
So there you go.
He's
So
been striving to.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much.
so with that, Dave, you have any parting thoughts?
Nah, man, this was a great episode. I know I said a lot. I'm glad it worked out. I'm happy for you guys. You guys are getting it done, and just enjoy the rest of the trip. Good luck with that kudu, John. Seems like you guys are having a blast, and well done. Way to get it done.
We're trying to walk and stalk that kudu. You know, it's
Oh,
an elusive beast.
There's a reason why they call it the gray ghost.
Yep.
I think I spent all my luck on the first day taking that
All right.
voodoo. Nah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that, man. Guaranteed success. Why not? Get it done. Take some pressure off. When you guys
No.
go back,
Oh no, it's the exact opposite, Dave. It is the exact opposite.
We could talk for 2 more hours on the experiences we had so far, and it's not even done yet. So
No.
the next episode when we're on, we might have to make it a little bit of a special, a little bit longer.
So yeah.
when you guys come back, man, it's full on whitetail season. So enjoy it while you're there, and then we got to go chase these local suckers here. Let's get them.
Yeah, I think we've given that up.
Yeah, I think we're over
Oh, you
white.
giving that up? Okay. A true only bougie fashion. Okay.
I told you.
There we go.
See those stinking whitetails in my life. Ugh.
I'm already booking a lion hunt in Namibia, so
All right.
Yeah, so I think Eastern U.S. hunting is a thing of the past.
gonna smoke one with my car. Call it a day.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
It's much easier.
You ain't kidding.
So, right, Johan, any parting thoughts?
Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for having us in the show.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you both very much for joining. This is awesome.
You guys want to plug anything that you guys have got going on?
Yeah. Not much
No?
that I can think
No?
of now.
Nothing.
Maybe we'll leave it
It's
for
also 2:00 in the morning or whatever the hell time it is there.
It is 2:00 in the morning, and we have been drinking since about 6. So thank you both for staying up for this and staying sober enough
Oh,
for this,
we
if
try.
you will.
We are professionals.
Well, you're back to being a professional
Right, he's
now.
back to a professional.
The last 2 hours. So, yeah. I do want to ask this one question. I asked this of all our guests, so I have to ask you guys.
All right, it's a good one.
What are 3 things that you have to carry with you on every hunt?
Well,
Your 3 most essential pieces of gear.
well, for me, it's my radio, 2-way radio, block, and binoculars.
Binos, without doubt. And we cannot communicate here without proper radios, definitely. And then my 375.
375, baby. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
What about that? What about that 303 in your truck?
It's riding in the truck, man.
Yeah.
It's riding in the truck.
All right, so there you go. You all heard it there.
That's it.
375
And Glocks.
and Glocks.
Good old Glock. Nothing wrong with a good old Glock.
No.
So what do you think, Dave?
I don't think it gets better than that, my man. Live on location from Africa. Who else does that?
UNICEF.
You fucked up, John.
Yeah, all right. Let's officially.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, Dave.
Yes, cheers, boys. Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
was a
We
good
gotta play sad music on the outro, have all the flies buzzing around.
Listen, if we haven't been canceled yet, I don't think we have to worry about that.
Yeah.
This was definitely the last show we're ever gonna do.
35 cents a day.
We are definitely getting canceled after this.
Ah.
Oh, God.
All right, producer Chris, why don't you roll the end credits, buddy? We call it a night. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. Anybody that watches this later on, Team OnlyBows live from Africa. We know the video's a little choppy, but hell, they're tuning in from Africa, so we got it done. Awesome job, guys, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Right, John. Thank you guys for staying up with us. John, thank you as well.
Yeah.
Everybody that watched, thank you. Anybody that's watching this in the future, again, thank you for listening. This was another great episode of Pursuit Live, coming to you from Uitkomst Safaris here in South Africa. Quick plug, please. If you haven't looked into it, check out Red Sky Safaris and Uitkomst Safaris. It's cheaper than a Colorado outcome. All right.
It's cheaper than Disney.
It is cheaper than Disney, and believe me, you will have a better time by far. So stay tuned for more. Guys, thank you so much
Thank you.
for everything you've done so far. Thank you
will
for
do.
staying up. I understand this was a challenge. It's a good thing that we planned ahead for this. So, Dave, thank you for staying up till 8 o'clock. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, you guys. And with that, everybody, tune in next week, 7:30
Yes.
next week,
Yes.
right here on Pursuit Live.